Are you experiencing back pain that you can't get rid of? Getting migraines, vertigo, having trouble sleeping, and/or brain fog? Do you feel like your medical doctor doesn't understand your condition? Blair Chiropractic might be the solution you've been looking for. If you've ever been skeptical about this, the two doctors you're about to listen to were even more skeptical than you were when they looked into chiropractic work. But fear not. Get expert guidance from the blonde and the bald, Doctors Beth Bagley and Frederick Schurger. These two doctors have extensive experience beyond the healthcare realm and bringing unique vision and healing to their patients. What do you have when you get a biological analyst and an engineer together? Find out right here on another episode of The Blonde and the Bald. Welcome your hosts, Doctors Bagley and Schurger.
Hey, welcome to The Blonde and the Bald. I'm Dr. Frederick Schurger.
And I'm Dr. Beth Bagley. How are you doing this week, Doc?
I am doing really good. In fact, I'm going to start, we were discussing how we're going to do the show tonight, but I'm going to start with a fun little aside because Saturday, and we're going to talk a little bit about routines and health routines and things like that tonight, but not Saturday, but rather Sunday, I went to do my workout and my low back said, you shouldn't do more than that. That's enough. So
did you listen?
I did.
Okay,
And I immediately texted Dr. Shiloh, your former associate, who now is on the other side of Illinois as she's getting her practice set up. I said, hey, by chance, do you want to come to Springfield tomorrow and get adjusted and adjust me? And she says, yes. So
did you see her?
Yeah, she came in on Monday.
Oh, fantastic.
She got me adjusted, and I was able to get back to normal and back to balance. And we're going to joke about that a little bit tonight as well. So,
oh, that's so great to hear.
Yeah,
she's so amazing.
She really.
We
is.
do need to have her on the podcast sometime in the next few times because she has an amazing chiropractic story.
Oh, I have no doubt. And she's going to be. She's going to have a great practice for those who are over on the east side of Illinois, towards Marshall and Macomb. We're gonna make sure she's
absolutely
she takes good care of you because she's really excellent. But in any case, you said you had a testimonial that you wanted to share.
I did. So this gentleman had just come in today, and I've seen him for years, but he has debilitating chronic headaches, and he still gets headaches. But what he told me today, his wife asks him often, like, how are you doing? Is it helping? Are you getting helped? And he often leaves for, he summers out of town. So we don't see him during the summer. That'll be coming up. But when we do see him, what he now is noticing is he used to not be able to even complete a workout without just getting a horrible headache, and it would stop him from working out, stop him from meeting his health goals there. And now he works out almost every day and does not get a headache. He might get one later in the day. Sometimes there's good days and bad days, but that is such a win for him, is that he's able to complete workouts where he wasn't able to do that before. And taking less medication. It's not zero medication. I'd love for it to be zero medication, but we have to live in reality. And sometimes we're not going to get that, but he's super happy where he is. And he was holding his adjustment today.
Nice. Excellent. Yeah. And we have to start somewhere. Most people think it's like, wouldn't it be great if everything got taken care of all of a sudden, or you could lift that weight, that you've been fantasizing about. It's like, that's my goal weight. And, you can't do that day one into the gym. So everything takes, you got to take your time, and you have to understand, you got to start with where you are and progress to where you want to go. And so we'll come back to that, because I think that'll be a theme. I will hit that theme of progressing to your goal and setting up systems to make that periodically throughout this podcast episode.
Okay, great.
But I had a patient who, this is funny, he's been a patient since last year, does great. He's a former Marine, and he had an accident while he was serving over in Afghanistan, I believe he said, that pretty much has left him in a world of hurt, similar with really bad migraines, lots of dizziness, lots of stuff. Any case, he decides he wants to go down to see this Dr. Hauser in Florida, who's a medical doctor who does all of these tests to sort of get, a better sense of what's going on with people. And then he does prolotherapy as a conjunction of things. I've heard good things, and if people are looking for something on the medical route or looking for another validation point, Dr. Hauser is a great reference. But anyways, he decided about a month ago that he's going to take a month off of care so that he could go down this past week to basically present at his worst. I don't know if he's ever going to do that again, because we got him adjusted on Monday, and he said he slept. He went through some really weird healing right off the bat, and he's like, this is very uncomfortable. And then he slept from something like 7 or 8 p.m. on Monday night to 2 p.m. the next afternoon.
Wow.
So folks, there's depending upon how you present and how your case is, you may want to not take that much time off.
Especially if you have a chronic long-term thing.
And a lot of other health issues associated with that. So
So one of the things, Doctor, you were telling me is that we have never gone over like what our health regimen is, like what have we changed in our lives, maybe supplements, products, workouts, eating. We've gone over eating a little bit, but I put together a presentation, but do you have something to show beforehand, or do you want to do it?
No, I'll do it. I'll do it after. So I'm going
sounds good. Okay. So Dr. Beth Bagley's favorite health tips and things. So I have, if you're just listening to this, I will be explaining all of it. There are some pictures, but you don't need to see them, but I just thought I'd make it interesting for the people on the YouTube. But I have a disclaimer. So the disclaimer is, don't think you have to change everything at once. The changes that I made and Dr. Schurger has made in their life came in our lives, one thing at a time. It sometimes seems overwhelming when people are like, well, you're doing this wrong, and you're doing this wrong, and you're doing this wrong. Just know that make one change. One of my patients actually this morning, she said, everything's wrong. You're going to see I'm a mess. And I keep doing everything, and she was just overwhelmed with how many things were going wrong in her life and everything. I was like, well, you're doing one right thing right now. And as you walked into our office and you're here getting checked. And with that, you'll be able to handle the stress of what's going on a little bit better. So if the number one thing you need to do right now is to walk into an upper circle office, just know we're here for you in the Midwest. And if you need help finding one, we will help you find somebody. Just give us a call or shoot us an email or find us on our websites. So the first things first, I've got a couple ones to talk about. Morning routine. Obviously, we wake up. One of the things I didn't put on here is I use a pillow type called the Therapeutica. Not everybody loves this pillow, but it's like the word therapeutic with an A at the end. So if you wanted to look it up on the Amazon, it comes in different sizes, and it has drastically helped me hold my adjustments better. So it allows me to back sleep and side sleep. And it's about the ugliest pillow you could ever buy.
It is. And it really is. And the other problem with the Therapeutica pillow is it is not great for cuddling.
No, it's terrible.
It is absolutely terrible because, you just can't cuddle with your significant other properly. And my wife and I both had them. She uses them less, but there's no place to put your head in a comfortable position if you want to try that. It just doesn't work.
And I'm okay with it because I don't like to be breathed on when I sleep.
I can see that about you. So
don't touch me. Don't cuddle. No, I want to sleep. So we can cuddle on the couch, but when I'm in bed, I want to sleep. So that's when I wake up, I'm usually on my side, and I'm waking up from a position where my head has been in a balanced position all night, because one of my goals with my health is to help maintain my upper cervical alignment, which I've been doing a pretty good job of. So the other thing I have next to me is water. I usually have one of these water bottles. I know it's plastic, don't yell at me, but it has good water in it. And we'll talk about that later. But I try to drink water right when I wake up. Sometimes if I wake up to like go to the bathroom in the morning, I'm trying to drink part of my water bottle beforehand because I want to start my my day hydrated somewhat. And it's not a good thing to drink water right before you go to bed. So I don't drink right before bed because then you have to get up and pee in the middle of the night, and that's not good for sleep. So when I go in to brush my teeth, I've changed. One of the things that I used to use was fluoride toothpaste. And I've done a lot of research, and I think Dr. Schurger has too, on the types of things that fluoride can do to our nervous system. So I choose not to use fluoride toothpaste, but I have started using a nano hydroxyapatite toothpaste, which is this one on the right side of the screen is called Boca. But if you just look up hydroxyapatite toothpaste, there's like 10 different brands of it now. And according to at least what the people who are selling it say, is that it's been used in Japan for many, many years instead of fluoride, and they have less tooth decay. So, and since I've been using it for the last 5 years, I have had barely anything wrong with my teeth. So nice. I do really like that type of toothpaste. Again, the kind that I use is Boca. There's other brands too. Makeup. So Dr. Schurger, do you have any comments about makeup?
I don't wear it.
I try to use more natural makeup. I don't always, I'm not perfect. Again, I don't expect anybody to be perfect, but I have found the type of makeup to from Beauty Counter, which is somebody will sell that. It's kind of like Mary Kay or Avon or whatever, but Beauty Counter is a newer group, and they use a lot of more natural products that are not harmful to like toxicity and that kind of thing. And the person I bought from is my trainer, which we'll go over in a second. And her name's Natalie Coomer, Natalie with an I, no E at the end, and nataliecoomer.com, giving her a little shout out. Her training stuff is on there, but also her, you can get to her Beauty Counter. So if you're looking for a rep for that, there's somebody you can go to. Moving on to deodorant. This is another thing I changed. So when I was in chiropractic school, I had never, ever even thought about deodorant being bad for you. And come to find out, I was using regular deodorant, and one of my friends was like, "What are you using?" And I had no idea that antiperspirant could be bad. So I did the research, and I realized that I don't like the idea of putting types of aluminum in my skin and then stopping sweat from coming out. And so I started using more natural deodorant. The ones I use, Beauty Counter has one that I really like, but also just at the store, you can find Schmidt's. There's lots of different flavors. Don't eat it. There's lots of different scents, and rose and vanilla is the one that I like the best. So I put that on there too. Now, here's another one you probably know a lot about is menstrual cups. Do you know a lot about those?
I've got nothing.
So I do want to bring it up, and some men will be like, I don't want to hear it. But if you ever have daughters, this is something that you need to know. So menstrual cups are an alternative to tampons. Tampons will keep the flow inside, and then sometimes cause cramping to get worse, increase the risk of yeast infections. And then there's the risk of toxic shock syndrome, which is a bacterial infection that can kill you. We don't like any of those things. Menstrual cups it's an amazing newer thing. I mean, it's been around for quite a while now, but that it does go inside. But what it does is it doesn't absorb, it just holds. So that when you only need to really take it out twice when you're on your period, twice a day. I usually do it 3 or 4 times a day just because I'm going pee anyway. And then you either plop it back in, I know it's gross, or rinse it out and put it back in if you're able to do that. And they last for years. You clean up. Yeah, it's pretty great. They're made, I like the ones that are made out of silicone. It's silicone, right? Silicone. Thank you. Yeah. Silicon Valley is what I was thinking of. Exactly. Silicone. And they, I did have one time that was made out of latex. I don't recommend that because that can be really not good.
Especially if you have latex allergies.
I found out I do.
Yep.
So it's not like severe, but not great. Right. And the product is amazing. So first of all, you're using less, like putting less stress on the environment because you're not using these throwaway products. It's healthier. and it can decrease menstrual cramps and decrease the other things that we talked about. So look those up, menstrual cups. There are tons of different varieties of those. What we're going to ask.
And again, on topics that I know nothing about, but I've heard peripherally, aren't there a lot of problems with tampons and pads as far as some of the stuff that is in those materials?
Yeah. So you can get more natural pads and tampons that have like just natural cotton and that kind of stuff. But typically, some of them have scents and fragrances. Some of them just have toxic ingredients, and you have that right up against your skin, or you have it inside of you, and that absorbs into your body. So that's what's great about the silicone cup is it's very inert.
Right.
Yeah. So that's highly recommended. At least try it out. I'm gonna be honest, it changed my life. It did. Like I used to go, oh my gosh, my period started. I hate everything. It sucks. And now it's like, oh, no big deal.
Nice.
It's just the other part of it, and it's not gross. Okay. Other thing I wear is compression socks. On my long days at work, I will wear compression socks. What that does is helps me. It helps with my blood flow. I'm very tall and a little bit overweight right now, which I'm working on. And in general, my feet will start swelling. It started after I had the babies. And now that my kids are 13, almost 14 years old, still getting swelling in my feet after a long day. So it usually happens when go ahead.
Yeah. And you have a very hard concrete floor in your office. I mean, it's a slab all the way back.
Yes.
And until you decide that you want rubberized flooring all the way through that. Right.
I don't want it. I think it looks bad. So yeah. And I'm okay with the compression socks. They really help me. And I think I have more energy when I wear them. I'd probably also wear them on a long trip to, like, if I was going to Europe or something like that. And I know a lot of nurses wear them. So if you do have a job that you're on your feet a long period of time and your feet swell, or you just are starting to get really achy in your legs, sometimes that can be helpful. And then the last thing I do in my morning routine is I drink tea. I love drinking tea in the morning. I am not a coffee drinker. I'm not against coffee. I just don't like it. So don't judge me, Dr. Sugar. He loves coffee.
I do love my coffee.
But tea is my drink of choice. I usually put, getting into supplements, I usually put 2 scoops of collagen powder in my tea. I don't taste it that much, taste a little bit, but I don't taste that much. And then I feel like I'm at least doing something. Now, I consider that still a fasted state, even though collagen powder does have some calories into it.
And it's a protein technically.
Yes. So I've never seen it spike my blood sugar, but I definitely think that it helps me, and I want to keep doing it. And that's one way I can get it in the morning, and it doesn't make my stomach hurt. I cannot take just pill supplements on an empty stomach. That will give me a stomach ache every time. So I don't take them until lunchtime. Moving on to lunch. So lunchtime, I bring my lunch to work. So that's a health thing that we can do, is that if we make a little extra in our healthy dinners and pack it and bring it to, like I did today, and I brought it and ate it for lunch, and it was delicious. I also bring my supplements to work if I remember. Sometimes I forget and I take them at night, but I like to take my supplements with lunch. And typically it's I'll let you go over supplements. You're way bigger into those, but a multivitamin, I usually use orthomolecular alpha base, and then some sort of omega. And then I have a couple extra ones just for metabolism. And then water drink. So we talked about my first drink of the day starts when I get out of bed. I try to get good amount in. And then when I get to work, I try to drink 2 of these. They're 32 ounces, I believe, while I'm at work. So I'm getting at least most of my drinks done. I just still have that much left for before we leave tonight. But I do think the quality of water is important to talk about. I try not to drink too much bottled water because of the plastic that it's been sitting in for a long time. Why I don't worry about this is I do know this is BPA free at least, and it doesn't sit in here all day. It sits in here for half a day, not for 6 months, or it's not been in the hot sun. I wouldn't drink this if it's been sitting in the hot sun in my car. So I use reverse osmosis at my house for filtration. I find that the water tastes better, and I feel like it's the right thing for my family. I know it's an expense, that's again, one of those things that's in the disclaimer, you can't do it all at once, but just know that this is one of the things you can do, and pick one at a time and change one thing at a time.
Mhm.
What do you use for water filtration?
We have a reverse osmosis product that it's a commercial grade product
Nice.
that we've been renting or leasing, or I don't know what we're doing, but for years. Because before that, we had already been drinking lots of water,
Mhm.
but I found that I was doing better when I started drinking vitamin water. And don't ask how many cases of vitamin water we were going through a month, because both my wife and I were drinking it. And at a certain point in time, I looked at it, and it wasn't as available at Sam's, and we're like, can we just do this? And that's what we do now. So I've got that
Yeah.
here in the office. I've got a local water company that drops off water bottles that's filtered and all of that fun stuff. So,
Nice.
but I would
Yeah.
say of all the things you can do that are really simple, and think about what are the easiest things that you can just start cranking out. Half an ounce per body weight, or your body weight,
In
half of your body
ounces.
weight in ounces. That's how much water you should be using as a goal for drinking more as we get into the summer months, and certainly with physical activity.
Yeah. So just put that in perspective. If someone weighs 200 pounds, that means drink 100 ounces of water. So this is 32 ounces. So it'd be about 3 of these a day.
Yeah. And also,
Which is why I start in the morning.
And bringing your lunch to work is a great idea.
Mhm.
If for 2 reasons. One, you get to cook healthy food.
Yep.
And
I know what's in
2,
it.
you know what's in it. And then the other side of that is you don't walk across the street to the barbecue place that I love coming to when I'm
I
coming
don't.
down to visit,
I don't
and
do it.
and
It's
drop
delicious though.
$35 for a
Exactly.
lunch. I
Yeah.
mean, it's really easy to do that, especially
The brisket.
with food prices right now. You've got to be, a little bit mindful of that. So yeah.
Yeah, agreed. And saving money is part of it too. But
Yep.
also just I know how much I put in I know how much I put in there, and I eat the whole thing, and I don't have any left over. So it's all I needed to eat. And I'm still full right now. So okay, nighttime routine. If I isn't a gym day or a personal trainer day, I will go for a walk. Sometimes it's not a very hefty walk because I'm tired at the end of the day, but it is a walk. I don't work out in the morning. I know morning routines are really important for some people to work out.
Right.
That will devastate my body if I work out in the morning, and that's just me.
And for you, that walk can be as simple as from your house to your stop sign. Because I look at that hill and I'm like, that's a rough hill just to walk up.
It is.
So
it is. I like walking
and
down at the end.
I was going to say, but it's still a rough hill to walk down. So, because it isn't a easy slope. So even if you just did that once, that's a good start.
Yeah. And that's the thing is if you are having trouble just getting started, start off just walking outside up and down your street a couple times or once.
Yep.
Just start a workout, just start a walk. And
Yep.
It's amazing what that'll do for your mental health and physical health, obviously. But the walk sometimes more about mental health than it is physical health for me. So I try to stop eating at 8:30 because nothing good happens after 8:30 with food going in my body. Because if I stop eating at 8:30 and I want ice cream at 9, which I wouldn't do, but let's say I did. Well, where's the ice? I'm not expending any more energy for the day. So that ice cream is going to go straight to fat. It's not like if I was going to eat an ice cream and then go run a marathon, I'd say eat your ice cream if you want to run a marathon, because it'll get used up like that. But at 8:30 at night, when the ice cream tastes the most delicious, or 9:30 or whatever, that's not the time to put calories or anything in your body. And you'll also sleep better on a more empty stomach. I try to finish my water goal right around the 8:30 mark because I don't want to drink too much more after then, because I don't want to wake up to pee. I put my water next to the bed. I journal or pray or read the Bible, whatever I want to do at that night. I have a whole bunch of beauty counter stuff I'll put on my face, like eye creams, facial masks. And then I have my last really fun tip. Okay. And then I'm done. is I don't know if you have any patients that use Botox for cosmetic purposes. Do you?
I know several that do. Yes.
Yeah. I have some good friends that do too. No judgment. You do you.
Exactly.
I'm not going to put toxins in my face. I know some people need to do it for migraine relief, and that does help them too.
Sure.
I highly recommend getting upper cervical care first before you start putting toxin in your muscles and face. But I found a product called Frownies, which is, it looks really funny. I get made fun of by my family, but at nighttime, because there's this thing called the 11s, which are these 2 lines that line up between your eyebrows. So
these right here.
Yeah. So on men, you're expected to have them, and it's fine. On women, it makes you look old.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I look better with Frownies and
so the wrinkles men, it makes them look distinguished. Women,
exactly.
That's not our thing. So
no.
One of the things, instead of injecting Botox into my face, I do is, I'm going to click on the next one, is I put these little things that make me look like Klingon on my forehead, kind of a Klingon look. So they're little sticky, almost like, it's called craft paper with adhesive on the back, and you wet it down and it gets like wet or it gets sticky, and then you put like a little triangle on your frown lines, and it hardens into like, just, I don't know, like hardened paper, like paper mache feeling.
Right.
And I sleep with it almost every night. Yeah, I know it sounds silly, but it's totally natural, and it's not going to add any toxins to my face. So I'm very excited about that. So Frownies is one of the things I found actually in the last couple of months, and I have noticed a difference with what is called the 11s. So I don't have 11s.
Well, good.
So those are my tips and tricks of things. And there's lots of other things, but these are some of the fun ones that I thought it would be fun to listen to. And again, don't think you have to change all of them all at once.
No,
you don't have to.
I mean,
one thing at a time.
And definitely look at the ones that are going to give you the best bang for your buck. What is free? Drinking water is free.
It sure is.
Can you and I go back and forth on why tap water has problems? Absolutely. Drinking water is free.
But if you've been drinking soda and you move to tap, I'd much rather you drink tap water than soda.
Oh, absolutely. So, and walking is free.
It's totally free.
And quite honestly, there are more people in the fitness space that says that basically say, first, abs are made in the kitchen, but the other thing you need to do is you need to get more activity in your daily life, and walking, because it's a low stress. In fact, I heard this today or the other day, and it just like, bam, it finally made sense. Walking will burn more fat than your workout will, because your workout is demanding glucose and glycogen stores immediately. So you do your workout, you decide to have that pint of ice cream, it's not going to kill you, but you're not going to burn fat from that. You're going to burn the glucose that you needed for that workout.
Yeah.
The walk, we've got access to, we're able to, most people are able to go for a nice walk, and if you're not, go to the find yourself a good park to walk around for a little bit. And it doesn't need to be complicated. 5 minutes after you eat your dinner, walk till your alarm goes off, and then turn around, because
and so one of the other things I have patients tell me in the winter is that they can't go for a walk, or they're afraid of the ice, or if you don't live in a good neighborhood, you don't want to go walk. Well, guess what? There is this thing called YouTube. You might be listening to us on that right now. And you can look up walking videos where it's like walking in your living room. They're like really fun. And one is
you did that hard 30 or hard. You did a
75.
You did the hard 75. Well, we did.
I walked outside for that though.
Yeah, and you were doing that last year in the cold around your office. So,
around my office or at home, sometimes at nighttime.
There were a couple of those days where it was bitter cold. I mean, we didn't have winter.
No, I had a parka on.
Yeah, it was cold.
You still get warm in a parka.
Yeah.
So, just know the Suzanne Sandstone or something. Sandstone is who would look at last name Sansone. I can't remember her first name,
Yeah.
which is like walk away the pounds or something. There's tons of videos
Oh,
of
interesting.
her. So that's just something that if you have a patient, or if you are listening and you are afraid to get outside, or you're afraid
Yeah.
you're going to fall outside, or you just don't want to go outside. I like going outside, but this is an option for you too. There's no excuse. It's free. It's on if you can listen to this, you can be listening and walking away the pounds, or whatever she calls it. It's cute.
Yep. Well, very cool. Very cool. All right. So we'll switch over to my list, because quite honestly, everything you're doing, I do a lot of those things.
I bet you do.
Clearly, not all of them, because
you don't have lady parts.
I don't. In fact, one of the things, so getting up, drinking water first thing in the morning is excellent. And that I definitely again, one of those free things you can do that will, rehydrate you, get things moving faster. But I'm not going to pretend I don't love my coffee in the morning. And that's one of the first things I do. And I do a French press. I grind my own beans with a hand grinder every morning. It's just a nice routine. It sort of sets my day, because, it's like, it's setting that pace. It's like, all right, I can do this. The coffee is ground, and then I put stuff in, and I do put some supplements in my coffee. Now, I've been holding off on collagen protein till the evening because of, again, the fasting. I'm like, all right, let's see where I can put it.
And again, I know I'm not officially fasting when I put that in there, but I'm still not eating food until
but it's a little different.
lunchtime.
It's a little different in that case as well, because collagen is an interesting protein in general, and some of the benefits you get from it, and it might just be immediately absorbed by most people. I'll come back around to that, because I've added something new that I'm back and forth on, so I'm not 100% certain I like it the way I'm doing it. But I throw supplements in my coffee, and some of them make it more bitter. So I've got a couple things just to help get me moving in the morning, get things excited and going. One of the supplements that I like, and as a person with boy parts, I like Tongat Ali. There we go. This is Standard Processes version. This one's really nice, because this one will just kick up everything.
Can you spell that for me?
TONGAKATALI.
Wow, would not have gotten that.
Right. Or, more colloquial known as Long Jack. It's actually got a lot of different names depending upon. In fact, I think I saw something that said it's Malaysian ginger.
Okay.
But I like it because it sort of gives, it does help boost testosterone naturally. So my goal in my morning, part of my morning routine is, after I've had my coffee, I do some reading. I like to get my workout going.
Yeah.
And as I get my workout going, I want that extra boost of testosterone. Apparently, it's also cortisol balancing too. So lots of good benefits there. I take that, a couple of other things. I take some boron, which is really good, again, for testosterone purposes. I always use creatine every morning. Creatine is probably the most studied and valid supplement that's out there. There's a couple other things I might
now.
throw
Creatine,
on.
is that like? Do I usually hear that around like muscle building, or
you hear it around muscle building? Absolutely. But what we're finding is there's a lot of cognitive benefits with creatine. The list goes on and on and on of the things that it's good for, but it will help give you more energy, because it's part of the ATP cycle.
Is that something you would recommend for women too?
I would recommend it for every person on the planet.
I didn't take it, so I think I might try.
It is so, and it's so simple. Now, creatine, there was a weirdness last year that it wasn't in stock, and I don't know if that's still the case now. But creatine, like I said, and you don't have to get into fancy creatines. Just get a powdered creatine, throw a teaspoon into water. It's fairly innocuous. Like I said, I throw it in my coffee.
So if I put it in my tea with my,
you'd be fine.
And you don't think I would taste it more?
Yeah,
or too much? Yeah.
No, you wouldn't notice it at all.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about glycine in a little bit, but that one, we'll come back around to that, because you will be adding glycine to your tea. after we finish up tonight.
Okay.
So that's basically my morning routine. And then I decide, one of my patients asked me, am I rehabbing anything? Do I have any aches and pains right now? And I'm like, well, aside from my low back giving me grief and not letting me work out, no, my goal right now is to be, stupid strong, and, be able to do whatever I want to do for as long as I can. I've been living by the model, live long, die strong, because I would rather, when I'm going to kick it, I'm going to kick it fast. I don't want to stick around. So my kettlebell routines, I'm going to do one more week of what I've been doing, because I didn't get all my reps in the 3-week period that I was looking at. But I'll do, I'm doing kettlebell snatches right now, and then I'm going to switch over into an endurance routine to see if I can't burn some of this stubborn belly fat that has been plaguing me forever. But
So real quick,
and that's most mornings when I'm working out, about 3 days a week.
okay, real quick, for someone listening who's never heard of a kettlebell, could you explain what that is?
It is a cannonball with a handle.
Yep, exactly.
And
so it's heavy, it's metal, and exactly what he said. Cannonball with a handle.
It is an implement of fat destruction, and I love them. But getting back to that progression and how we got to start somewhere. As a man, they say, all right, where do you start with the weights? Because it tends to be a ballistic, there are some, when you're lifting weights, you don't think of ballistic exercises like the Olympic lifts, but the kettlebells lend themselves to the Olympic lifts. And absolutely, you got to start, you got to figure out light so that what is, how to figure out your form and train yourself to know how to do these exercises properly. Because it is not impossible to hurt yourself with a kettlebell, but if you're doing things wrong, it's really easy.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, let's see, it would have been pre-COVID, I was having a lot of problems lifting some of these weights, one-handed. And now I'm, throwing the 53 pounds overhead like it's nothing. Some days easier than others, but it is always a progress. And, I did the same routine that I'm doing right now a year ago with a 44-pound kettlebell. And even before that, I was using one that was 35 pounds. So work your way up, figure out where, try a lightweight, see how it feels. And then slowly you work your way up to heavier and heavier weights. As part of my routine right now, also includes something called a Turkish get-up. And I think it's probably one of the best exercises for mobility, especially if you're getting, I had a patient in the other day who was, I'm like, all right, let's do this stretch. We're going to get you down on the floor so that you can kneel and get your arm up against the wall. And I saw him, just like, all right, trying, using all 4 points to get down because he's so tight and not mobile. And he's not, he's a big, strong man and he doesn't have the mobility. And I started doing Turkish get-ups because I was feeling that lack of mobility from my previous routine. And I started doing the get-ups, and immediately, like that day, I felt better mobility. I felt things were moving the way they were supposed to be. There are plenty of videos out there on Turkish get-ups. We may showcase some videos later.
The one thing I'll say about a Turkish get-up is also don't be afraid to do one without weight at first.
Absolutely.
So you're just going through the motion. And you start off with your arm up in the air, and you're on your back. And just keep a fist or just keep your hand up in the air and then do the motion through that, because that's how I learned to do them. And they're not easy. It's sometimes the motion itself just isn't easy to remember. And
just learning how to get up from the floor, but with only one hand.
With one hand. Yeah.
And in fact, there is a version of the Turkish get-up that is it's a straight roll. That a lot of military folks will train with, because they'll have their weapon on them and they'll be laying on their back and they have to be standing immediately. And they'll basically do a variation of the Turkish get-up to get up to a standing position with all their gear on. So, this again gets down to a mobility drill and how can you move and get up off the floor? Because at some point in time, we may all be on the floor, and we don't want to be stuck and, have to hit the little button.
If you don't have a button though, like I've had a few of my patients, they just are just stuck there until somebody comes over.
Exactly.
And
it's really bad when you can't reach your cell phone and watch YouTube videos to get advice on how to get up, opposed to calling for help. Anyways,
just call for help.
But that's, so right now I'm doing my kettlebell snatches 3 days a week, and at two days a week, if I'm good, I will get a get up routine plus some ancillary exercises in on that. That brings me to lunch on most days, because these are days when I'm generally not in the office. Well, not necessarily. They move around a lot, but at lunch is when I'll take my supplements. I will definitely. I'm on the carnivore diet, so lunch is very commonly anywhere from 1 pound to 1.5 pounds of meat in various forms. Half a pound of that's oftentimes either a liver or a Braunschweiger, because I want a bunch of nutrition fast. And there's nothing like liver or Braunschweiger. It's awesome.
Nasty.
But I do have a handful of supplements that I continue to take on my non-training days, my recovery days. I will take NAC both for breakfast and at lunch. Apparently NAC is, this is great. This is this fuels your antioxidant glutathione. We don't make vitamin C, we make glutathione, and this helps get that working better. So this is an antioxidant precursor, also used for aspirin toxicity in hospitals. So this is a lot of people use
Tylenol,
this.
I think it is.
No, you're correct. Thank you. But a lot of people who are wine tasters, they love to do this. They do it for fun.
This
they do
is
it
so
for
true. I was going to bring it up.
They will take this to help combat any sort of liver issues that they're going to have later on. So this is also,
so this thing, okay. Not that I drink very often. I don't. And Dr. Schurger really almost never drinks, but I now, no matter what, if I know I'm like going out with friends, I'm going to have a couple drinks, I will take that supplement before I start drinking, because I have not had a hangover since then. Now I do also drink water and all the things to combat a hangover, but that supplement is unbelievable. Yeah. It's like a miracle.
It's good stuff. The other things that I take regularly are some sort of zinc supplement. Usually, again, I take these with lunch. And why do I like zinc? I like zinc somewhere in the ballpark of 50 milligrams a day, because Charles Poliquin said zinc is necessary for all male hormones to work properly. And Charles Poliquin is probably one of the best trainers when he was alive. And a lot of people have suggested that we lost an amazing resource, because that man trained more Olympic athletes to gold medals and to medaling consistently than anybody else out there. And he just knew stuff. And Charles says 50 milligrams for men. The joke was, if regardless of what your state or your country or your region says what is normal for a man, 50 milligrams is normal for a man. The joke was Canada had 50 milligrams was their requirement for men to have proper function. The UK's requirement was 10. So technically, British men in Canada were not real men.
That's okay. I've heard that too.
That's the joke.
Sorry, the Canadians or Brits that are listening.
Exactly.
It's a joke.
Yeah. The other one that I like, and this, I don't know why I was having this problem with carnivore. I've had it on and off, but I get this weird buildup behind my lower teeth. It's like a mineral buildup. It is sort of gross. And it's annoying because it'll start cutting my tongue because of that buildup. And one of the things that I found seems to break it up. Well, the thing that broke it up first was phosphate liquid. So it's a phosphorus. And we need a lot of phosphorus in our diet, but unfortunately our food is depleted of a lot of phosphorus. So I will take phosphofood liquid, especially if I get that buildup going there, breaks that up within about a day, and I'm back to just regular teeth. But what it's also doing is it's pulling, it's converting your calcium into a more liquid form. And calcifood wafers, I'll take 3 of these every day so that I get my calcium. Do I have any B vitamins in this? Not really. There's
I
some
think
wheat germ.
because you take that, it makes you not a carnivore. So I'm just letting you know.
You're right. Not strict. But again, I've got a few things that I find that I need beyond just being a strict
Absolutely.
carnivore. And I like this, and it tastes good. I chew them. It's my little bit of sweet tooth, because it's there. So that's that. Usually if, that's lunch, do some stuff in the afternoon. Sometimes I'll see patients. Sometimes, I'm just getting other stuff done. Dinner, it's eggs and
More
bacon.
meat.
Generally eggs and bacon.
Eggs and bacon. Okay.
Eggs and
That's
bacon.
the one time that I stayed at your house when we were having a seminar. You had like a
Oh,
big
it
old
was meat.
steak.
It was
steak.
definitely meat. It was steak and steak back then.
I think there were
but-
eggs
but-
too. I think you did steak and eggs.
I haven't done that. That's been a long time.
It
I
was a
think
long time ago that I was there. So
I know it's been a while. But no, I've been more eggs and bacon for the past year, a couple years now, because it's simple. It's nothing
Mhm.
fancy. It doesn't.
how do you
weigh
cook
me
your
down.
bacon? Just in the skillet?
I will throw the bacon. I'll dice it up and I'll throw it into the skillet. Let that render, and then I'll
Mhm.
throw my egg whites in there, and then I mix all of that back into the yolks that are in my bowl, so that the yolks cook only with the heat off the heat.
That sounds
So
good.
that way I get runny yolks. At dinner, though, I'll take this Magtine.
What's that?
This is magnesium threonate.
Oh, okay.
This helps me get better sleep at night.
That makes
Pops
sense.
up my HRV generally. And the other thing that I've been experimenting with, getting back to the collagen, I've been experimenting with a version of hot chocolate, but as a sweetener, I'm using glycine.
Okay.
And glycine's interesting because glycine is a 1-to-1 exchange for sugar, but glycine actually boosts it boosts collagen synthesis because it's one of the main ingredients, one of the main amino acids in collagen.
Okay.
And yet we need a lot. We make 3 grams of glycine a day. The average person who's got good methylation probably needs another 10 to 12 grams daily. But methylation being one of those big buzzwords.
I think I have a problem with it. So
right. Some people can utilize anywhere from 50 to 60 grams per day to get things healthy. And it helps, clean up the gut. It helps.
And it doesn't increase blood sugars.
It doesn't increase blood sugar. In fact, if anything, it actually helps pull blood sugar in by sort of making insulin work better. And it's super sweet. I mean, it is as sweet as sugar. You take a tablespoon of that.
So is it a powder or a liquid or what is it?
I'm using a powder right now. And I've been told there might be some problems with where you source the powders, because some powders are better than others. So there's a buyer beware on that. I don't have I'm not saying like I've got a good brand here, there, or the other. But
It's just something I could pick up on Amazon.
Yeah, no, I picked up a bag of it from Bulk Supplements, and I've just been. You could probably run down to your local health food store
and find it there.
Find it there on one of their shelves. So it's pretty common. But of course, all of this stuff predicates that my head's on straight and everything works the way it's supposed to, because like I said, I've had days where I've had to come on down to see one of Dr. Vanyo's, to see you, where I was able to do my workout, but I knew I was out of adjustment.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's not uncommon. And then I have a day like on Saturday or Sunday rather, where I go to do my kettlebell swings and I'm like, okay, that's tight. I'll just, I go back into my hinge so that I can get my, hip mobility going where it's supposed to. I've stretched a little bit. I'm going to take my time into this. Let's do another set. Oh, that's not better. Let's do one more set. Well, it's sort of better in my head. It's not.
No.
And then I do my first set of snatches and I put the bell down and, Saturday or Sunday, I keep on wanting to say Saturday. I don't know why. Anyways, that day was a heavy, that's supposed to be a 15 rep per arms day. That's a lot. When I go up to this next routine, it's, pushing 20 to 30, but it's an endurance thing. And that's an endurance game at that point in time. I don't want to play if I have something that doesn't feel good, I don't want to play into endurance. Sure enough, that leads to other problems. In fact, I had one of my nuns come in the other day and she's like, oh, I so know that I'm out of adjustment because my balance is off. And that immediately made me think of this silly little video. So let me cue this up. And for those who are just listening, hopefully it'll come out. The audio will come through. It's from Rick and Morty season 3 about true level.
What are you doing? Was your shelf level or not? And if I say yes, you're going to provide that for me with that? Yes? See the bubble? I'm familiar with the bubble, Morty. I also dabble in precision, and if you think you can even approach it with your sad, naked caveman eyeball and a bubble of air, you're the reason this species is a failure, and it makes me angry. You're drunk. You want to put up a shelf? Put up a shelf. You want to experience true level? Do you? Yes? All right, come on. Wow, it's so, oh my God. Oh, Christ. Yeah, true level, bitch.
Morty, come on, we're leaving for school.
Everything's crooked. Reality is poison. I want to go back.
What's his deal?
Morty. Go to school, Summer. I'll go in Morty's memory and do a little.
Anyways.
True level. And so the funny is that I have some patients that like do a lot of yoga and I love that for them. But a lot of them are very aware of their body balance.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
If it's out or in, or if it's been out for a while and then they do yoga and they're in alignment, yoga practice isn't easy either. So, but they know staying in alignment is a huge deal for them, and the yoga teachers know it too. So,
oh, absolutely. And this clip just, this is one of those things where until you've experienced true level, you're like, true level, it doesn't have to be that good. But until you've experienced being in proper alignment, you don't even know what you don't know about, being in a good place. I know guys who are like, yeah, that was good enough. They could have worked out where I was the other day, and paid for it the next day probably. And that's where if you don't know this, I can't express this. I mean, quite honestly, this Rick and Morty cartoon expresses it better than I've seen anything else about what it feels like to have your head on straight. And then when it goes out of place, it's a mess and you're miserable. In fact, as we've discussed in the past, that time after I had that car accident back in 2017, and I was just a mess. Prior to that, I was feeling so good. And
you were at true level.
I was at true level. And just doing amazing. So any case, it's, if you don't have that, again, what are the basics? What are the simple things you can start with that will get you to the next level? Pun intended. But will at least get you going the way you're supposed to. And I think, we can agree, drinking water is
an easy one.
It's an easy one. Do you need all these supplements?
No.
Not at the beginning.
No,
if you wanted
leveling up,
if you wanted one supplement that's going to definitely give you bang for your buck, creatine is going to be my first and foremost.
I'm going to do it.
But I was going to say, but even before that, eat more protein, get
Yeah.
your protein level up. So those are simple. Those are the basics. I had a patient come in today who was telling me about Dr. Amen. Are you familiar with him? Who does the
Do not.
SPECT? He does all the SPECT scans
Okay.
out in California, and he's doing amazing work. I mean, I think he's a clinical psychiatrist,
Mhm.
but he's actually looking in the brain and asking the question, what's happening in the brain in these people who have this condition, and when we give them this medication, what happens with these people? So he's actually asking the tough questions, and
Yeah, the
oftentimes
right
finding
question.
right, and oftentimes finding that the medication doesn't do what it says it does,
Mhm.
et cetera, et cetera. But she wants one of these scans to figure out what's going on with her. And I'm like, okay, so who's going to do this in our area? And she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, right. And how much is it going to cost? Because if I'm not mistaken, and I might be just mixing this with a functional MRI, and I think I am, but the SPECT machine is not an inexpensive machine to run
Mhm.
daily. But one of them, either the SPECT machine or the functional MRI, takes a day to change to a different chemical. So they almost always keep it at glucose that they're
Mm.
measuring. And if it's $1 million a day to just to run that thing, or maybe it's $100,000 a day,
That
it's
sounds
a
like
lot.
a lot.
It's
It's
a
a
lot
lot.
of money. And if you're down a day switching to
change
another
over.
chemical, and then you have another day to change back, that's 2 days of being down that you're not being able to functionally work. That's why they almost always stay at the same thing. So again, it's stupid expensive for some of these tests that may not tell you anything more or different about
Mhm.
what's going on with what you're doing. And sometimes the simple answer is, well, I want to lose weight, but I need to figure out where my body composition is. No, just go for a walk. Just eat
Yeah.
more protein. Just drink some water.
And
Do the
just do
easy-
it every day.
Do the easy stuff. Yes, you
Every
might not have.
day.
You
And
might
some
not
days you're
have.
going to screw up. Do it
Yeah.
every day anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And when I start telling people, when I start showing people how to do stretches, and maybe they don't come back in for another month, I want them to do the stretch even if they're doing it wrong. Because if you do it every day, you might figure out what you're doing wrong. And when you come on back, you're going to say, Doc, I don't know if I'm doing this right. And then you show me, and I'm like, no, that looks good. Here, let's tweak
Or
this.
you've
and,
now made a habit out of it. And the
that's
habit is where
that
you
is
are.
the bigger thing. The habit is what I really want them to
Yes.
to encapsulate. Because if they don't get their habit going, then exactly you're not going to get to the end goal, because it is not about, the goal is nice, right?
Yeah.
But the system is what makes things better, and it will
Mhm.
keep you there. There is no such thing. People want to say, all right, I'm just going to get to the finish line. And we're
Yeah.
coming in, it's when this, we're recording this at the end of May, and everyone is graduating, and they're like, I got finals tomorrow, and I'm going to get done with my finals, and then I'm going to be done with school. And then you're not done with school, because then you've got next year, or you graduated from high school to college, or you went from college to work. And then you're always, there's always a process. These things and these habits that we're talking about are things that will keep you until you are done, until you have decided to die strong.
Die strong.
And that's hopefully a long way off for both of
We
us.
should
and for
make
everybody listening.
we should make shirts that say die strong.
Well, no, that's what I want to have. I will live long, die strong. I've been thinking about that myself. So
I think it's neat.
I think we need to make those shirts.
Bald and the blonde.
Yeah, exactly.
The
We'll have
blonde and
that.
the bald. Which way is it?
I believe
It's
we
the
start with
blonde.
the blonde,
That's right. The most important goes first.
because
You're
if
correct.
you've searched for us and you've put the bald first, you're going to not find the right podcast.
Yeah. So we're the
don't-
blonde first.
Yes, blonde first, ladies first, as they should be. Any case, so make your habits, start your habits, figure out what are the simple things. If you heard one or two ideas from us today, write them down and say, I like that. I can do that. I can do
Implement it, like, even if it's tonight, is
that.
you
Well,
are now
and
going to put
absolutely.
water next to your bed. So the first thing you do when you
Yes.
wake up, before you even get out of bed to go to the bathroom, is you drink half your thing of water. And then
Yeah.
before you walk downstairs or to your, wherever your kitchen is, you drink the other half.
And Tony Robbins, who has been getting people to set their goals and reach their goals and things like that, has been saying, take action now. The thing you can do right now will be something that will stick with you, and you'll feel like you've achieved something already.
Oh, but I'll just do it tomorrow.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
Nope. I
Now.
have a list of things that I have to do tomorrow.
I got
I
a
didn't wanna do
long
them
list
today.
of things I gotta do tomorrow.
Yeah.
But we do what we can every
Yes, we
day
do.
and do the easy stuff first.
Yes.
The hard stuff will come, but do the easy stuff first. You've got this.
Absolutely. All right. Dr. Bagley, where can they find you?
I'm in St. Louis, Missouri at Precision Chiropractic, STL as in St. Louis.com.
And I'm in Springfield, Illinois at Keystone Chiro, SBI.com. I'm also in Arthur, Illinois. I don't mention that very often, but that is that is my second location for myself. So we will be back with another episode of The Blonde and the Bald. You all have a great evening. Dr. Bagley, let's go finish off ours.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
That's all for today's episode of The Blonde and the Bald. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you enjoyed today's show with Drs. Bagley and Schurger, remember, don't give up and just live with the pain. Come back next week and get more answers and solutions. Visit our websites at KeystoneChiroSPI.com and PrecisionChiropracticSTL.com for more info, and catch all the episodes of The Blonde and the Bald.